Good morning, everybody. Nice to have everybody here. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start us with a prayer, and then Bill's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Our dear Father in heaven, we're thankful for this day and thankful for the opportunity to be here at Commission meeting and discuss the needs and affairs of Millard County. We're thankful for our peers and our neighbors, and pray for a blessing to be upon our citizens, that they will be blessed and protected, and bless us this day that we will make decisions that will benefit and bless the lives of those we serve. We're grateful for all the many blessings and thankful for the moisture we've received, and pray that we can continue to receive that which we need in this area. Again, we're grateful for all that thou's blessed us with, and we say these things in Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand and follow me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Approval of the minutes from April 1st.
I have a couple of things. Okay, on page 2, line 16, we just need a space there between 1 and 4. And then on page, where is it? It's where we were talking about the landfill, the gravel pits.
Line 79.
What page? Oh, there it is. Okay. Page 4. Line 87. I didn't know if on the very end there, if we wanted it to say mines or gravel pits. What do you guys think?
I think they're considered mines. We might call them gravel pits, but I think they.
Yeah, I didn't know if we should put slash gravel pits or just leave it the way it is. And I don't really care.
Give me 1 second. Let me look at something.
What was that?
Let me look at something, and I can look at the graph to tell you exactly what they're called. So it's called mining surface, so I think
Okay.
mining will be fine. But along
Okay.
those lines, on line 79, it says it is not currently zoned for leasing. It should be, it is not currently zoned for mining or gravel pits.
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense too. On line 79,
So
Not
leasing
zoned
should be
for
mining and gravel pits.
She said for leasing, so it should be, it's not zoned for mining, which is probably in an ag 1 zone or something like that. Is that what it is, Trevor?
Yeah. Yeah.
that's all I
Okay.
have.
Anymore, I move that we approve the minutes with the changes made.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any follow-up from April 1st commission meeting? All right, ratification of sending a letter of support regarding Deseret Generation and Transmission Cooperation Bonanza Power Plant.
The reason why it's on the ratification, because we've already sent them. I have a copy of both of the letters. I also emailed them to all three of them, Attorney Madam Attorney Harris, at the time, but because it was stamped before, it was on the agenda.
I make a motion that we ratify the letter of support regarding Deseret Generation and Transmission Cooperation Bonanza Power Plant.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, ratification of sending a letter of support regarding Millard County as location for Power Project Becker.
Same thing, right?
Yeah, same thing, it's the same letter.
I'll make a motion that we ratify sending a letter of support regarding Millard County as a location for Power Project Becker.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, tourism digital billboard update. Rachel.
Rachel from Tourism. I just want to let you guys all know that the digital billboard is up and running. Everything is, like we finished everything, so we'll be wrapping up that grant here in the next few weeks. We are creating like guidelines of what can go on there. So if like other businesses want to apply to put up an event on there, we'll have specific guidelines. But it's all looking really good. We've have some up there right now, and we're creating new ones so that everybody knows what's going on in the county. So we just wanted to give you guys a quick update that it's done.
Well, thank you very much. It'll be fun to have it and see how well it works and how many people it can help stop by.
Yeah, I think it'll be great.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion and possible approval of ambulance abatements. Lindsay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I've got 2 ambulance abatements today. The first one, hopefully it's the first on your pile too, is Jace Penny on behalf of Aspen Penny. This was a transfer from Fillmore to Primary Children's. Their insurance paid the biggest portion of almost $6,400, leaving a balance of $1,598.83. Their 2023 adjusted gross income was $69,400. He works at Great Lakes Cheese. She works at the Clubhouse Academy. Their monthly expenses is $4,040. Their assets that they listed was a 2011 F-250 and a 2018 Polaris Razor. And they have a family size of 5. And
Is
I
there-
didn't grab my chart. I'm hoping you guys have your
I was
chart.
going to say, do you happen to have that
I
chart?
didn't bring the chart, but I think there's been one in the drawer.
What are you hunting for?
It's not this one, is it? Just a regular binder?
What are we hunting for?
We may have to have somebody from the assessor's office bring one up.
Well, and it's different because we do it off the medical portion instead of off of like a property.
Did you happen to look at these ahead of time to see if they qualified?
I did not,
Okay.
no. It was on a colored sheet of paper, like a cardstock, but. And I can run back out to my office and grab one and come back. It's something that we got off of the medical, like what IHC uses for their write-offs. No.
It wouldn't be online, would it?
I don't know. I can just run, I mean, it won't take me very long if you want to skip ahead and then I'll come right back.
Is that okay if we do that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we'll
Yep,
skip ahead.
I meant to bring it, but
No, you're good.
I was running late, so.
No, you're good.
Lindsay, will you bring an extra copy for yours? We're gonna come back to us.
Okay, discussion and possible approval of resolution 25-4-15, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Millard County, Utah, creating a paid administrative leave policy.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, we're gonna take.
yeah, okay.
And Kayla, we're not gonna put it back on the agenda to have a action request.
Okay, Discussion and possible approval of
I guess, Jacob, are we almost done with it, or what? Where are we at? I mean, we've had it on the agenda for,
So obviously, we're in the process of doing an evaluation of every policy, every resolution that we've done for the past 20 years.
I think he's trying to be nice. I just looked at it yesterday, and my review spurred about 10 more questions.
Yeah, and so the truth is that it's been under review for a long time. But with each new review, there's new questions, and we've realized that these are the types of things that we have to get right? And so we'll table it. There's going to be a big push. We'll talk about a little bit later, if we want, about what the county is doing to ensure that we're in compliance, and policy and resolutions are all up to date. We have a big program in place right now that we're in the process, Elise and I are working through. And again, we've got 20 years of resolutions that really weren't ever, not ever, but consistently matched with policy update, right? And so we're in the process of going through every one of those resolutions and seeing if that resolution changed current policy or not. Right, and so it's a big plan that we're doing right now, but it's absolutely the right thing and the best thing to do. And so we're not going to, again, we apologize that this made it back on the agenda. That was kind of my fault, because we had put it on and then it tabled, and they had just been re-putting it on, and I didn't tell them, hey, let's hold off until it's ready. And so it wasn't supposed to get put back on, but that was on me. So anyway, so that's why it's been on, and we're just reviewing
my
it.
question is just kind of where we're at. I know we're.
Yeah, so we're just gonna make sure that these are right before we actually get them approved with you. And so, anyway, be patient with us, but thank you for that.
That's fine.
Yeah, we want to make sure it's right.
Okay, discussion and possible approval of resolution 25-4-15A, a resolution of the Millard County Commission repealing resolution 16-1-19, designating the procedure for appointing unelected department supervisors in Millard County. At least I'll
Do you want me to
let
give some
kind of
background on this?
Yeah, explain a little bit.
So as we've been reviewing personnel policies and going through resolutions and looking at a county personnel management act that isn't quite binding on Millard County, but provides direction on how counties run their employment merit system, it came to my attention that about 10 years ago, a resolution was passed that classified department heads as employees, which is not how it generally works. They're classified as appointed positions, every unelected department head. And the reason for that is, in my communications with USIP and also Kristen Van Orman, who contracts through USIP, who's an employment attorney, the more authority a person has, especially as different elected officers make it in and out of office, the more reason the commission should have the ability to terminate those department heads at will. That doesn't necessarily mean they won't have a job. I think the practice used to be, before this resolution was passed, that they would consider them to return to the merit position they had prior to being an appointed department head. This just gives the commission more flexibility when it comes to those positions that have significant authority and discretion.
And I guess we've always assumed that would be for, of course, we can't fire an elected official, but anyway, but this includes the deputies also then.
This includes the
So would this
deputies
be, would they be
Well,
able to?
not this resolution, but
Okay,
the county ordinances already say that deputies are appointed positions, so it's really just a matter of going through the process correctly.
so some of them are, and maybe some of them aren't. Is this an either or, you get to choose, or
No, this is gonna make it
you're
so
in
they're
an appointed
appointed.
position? So are you subject to step and grade only if we decide that? I mean, like everybody else?
I think-
They would not be, that'd be a separate decision if we give step and grades and says, will no deputies get them? I mean,
I think that's gonna be part of the larger conversation.
Okay,
This is the first step
just
in
questions.
reorganizing the personnel
Yeah.
policies, because this is such a baseline inquiry before you move on to pay or anything else.
Because it's really already been there, but we haven't implemented it really.
Yeah.
What you're saying is we got a policy, we just
You have an
haven't
ordinance
followed.
that says deputies are appointed, and I think practically they've just worked through the
So
merit
we need a
system.
lot of discussion on it.
I think it's going to take some work. I think it's going to be a big project.
Yeah,
Okay.
and,
Jacob's happy to
and I think
tackle
that
it.
that's the scope that we're talking about right now, right, is that it's going to be a giant scope, just because, again, right, just this one issue, right, it's a core fundamental process and piece that has just been overlooked, right, for a lot of years, and this resolution got put in and really not compliant with the intent, right, of what it is, what it's meant to be as far as from the state code. And so, yeah, but again, we have a lot of autonomy, right, to give protections where we need to give protections, and like Elise said, the code does reference that those appointed positions, we can put in policy that it goes back, right? But the idea is that every elected official has a chief deputy who is going to help them pursue their political moves and agendas, right? The commission also has that same opportunity, and that resolution kind of took that away from
So
them.
what we're going to do is repeal the previous resolution and work on replacing it with something.
We'll just actually just leave it back to our regular ordinance, right? So,
Do you have questions? I have a copy of the resolution
Yeah, I
that
haven't
this
seen that, but-
resolution seeks to repeal. If you need time to look at it before the next meeting, that's obviously very reasonable.
No, I'm all right. Let's go ahead and get,
Or if you want to read it while they move on
no,
to another
let's
item.
go ahead and get going so we can, then we'll be working on it, so.
From my background of this resolution, one commissioner felt very strongly about it and thought department heads should be treated as merit employees, but there's just the two different policy decisions.
Okay. I'm good.
So
Is
we
that- is
ready
that a
to
motion?
approve it?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. I
would
move,
advise you to.
I move that we approve Resolution 25-04-15A.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh, sorry.
Oh, yes.
2504-15A is discussed. Commissioner Wayne,
Yes.
Commissioner
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I just ask that everybody who has not signed a roll will come up and write your name on our paper.
Okay, we're not doing the 10:30 item.
No, we are.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, just that email that I sent today, we're not getting.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry, Jess, you're still on. Okay, discussion and possible approval of the Community Impact Board project list.
All right, good morning. Jess Peterson with R6 Regional Council. Every year, one of the requirements of the Community Impact Board, CIB, is you've got to have a project on their list. Now, this list has zero bearing on whether the project is funded or not. For example, last year, we had 12 projects from Millard County on the list. Only one project actually applied. So just because you're on this list doesn't even mean you're going to apply. It just means, hey, we want to get our project on there just in case. So the requirement for CIB is that the county prioritize the list of projects and we get that submitted. And then throughout the year, we reach out to those communities that put their project on the list. If they want to apply, they apply. If they don't have to. So we've got 7 projects this year. Delta's got 2. We prioritize these based on water, sewer, roads, and recreation. With limited funding that's available, CIB is primarily focusing on more of the critical infrastructure. So Delta's they want to do a new well. Leamington, their existing well is starting to fail. Lindell wants water pumps and water valves. Oak City has a couple of water tanks they want to recoat. Fillmore wants to add a sewer lagoon and update headworks. Delta, they want to upgrade their storm system. They need a plan to upgrade their stormwater system. And then Leamington, they've got a recreation project. So we tentatively prioritized this based on the water, sewer, roads, and recreation. Again, this just does not have any bearing on what is approved. The CIB board reviews those projects at each meeting, and they're the ones who decides whether a project gets funded or not. So tentatively, that's the way we've got the projects on the list. If there are any additional projects that come on, because sometimes we'll just get a call and say, hey, we want to add a project to the list. May 31st is the deadline. May 1st is the deadline, the hard deadline, that we have to submit this to CIB. So between now and then, if we get a project, we're just going to throw it on the bottom of the list. And then if we get another one, it'll just go on the bottom of the list. That way we don't have to get anything else prioritized. So they've missed the deadline, they're just gonna go on the bottom. Again, this just has no bearing on the approval. So we just need approval if you're good with this priority.
Jess, do you know what their total budget is for CIB?
I don't. I have not seen the budget this year.
Do you know if the state added any new money this year? Or if they're just functioning on what they previously, some years the state would put a lot in it, but
Yeah.
the last 2 or 3 years, I'm not sure.
I haven't seen any additional funding come into CIB, and I did not
But
hear.
you don't know what what their budget is.
I don't.
What they're gonna do.
I don't. Their next funding meeting is in June in Richfield.
They have a pretty big budget.
They do.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You don't know the urgency of any of these, do you?
So the next meeting for CIB is in June. None of these projects are applying for June. So they're not super urgent, otherwise they would be in June. I think most of them were going for the October board meeting, and then one was going to the February board meeting. So they're not, it doesn't appear that anything's critical right now.
Okay.
I'd move we approve the list to present to the CIB board.
In the current order?
Well, the order's not gonna matter. They're not, I mean,
Okay.
and this is where they've changed. The order's not gonna matter. They're gonna prioritize them by need, and they have a theory that if you need water, it's more important than recreation. So I can tell you right now, they'll fund all these utility projects before they fund recreation. So the order's not gonna matter. They're gonna
Yeah.
go on the list.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you,
Okay,
Jess.
thank you. And just as a side note, the areas, they did not need to be put on this list. They were not requesting mineral resource funds. Their funding was coming from a different source, and so that's why they were not included on this
Yeah,
list.
we sent a letter to Mary's, and they thought they had to be, but the legislature passed a bill this year that they could use. Previous to now, they haven't been able to use the interest of the CIB money. They passed a bill that they could use at least a portion of that interest for CIB. So it's kind of a separate fund. They got a different path, and that's what they're going over.
Yeah, and I reached out to Candace Powers, who's the manager over CIB, and she said areas did not need to be on the list, so.
One thing that might be more in line on this list, you take off the word county priority.
Well,
Because
unfortunately,
that's a misnomer. I mean, what you've told us, and then you have, that's the reason Vicki asked the question.
yeah, unfortunately, we have to have a priority from the county,
Okay.
just because it's in the
All
statute.
right.
Yeah. Hopefully
They
they'll
made you,
change
they
that.
made you do it. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I get it, But you look at it, we say, well, it don't really matter, and then on the list, you got a county priority. Well,
Yes.
you're telling us two different things.
Yeah, for some reason, they want it prioritized by the county, but when it comes to the board meetings,
It
it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So,
So it'd be less confusing if you just took that off. Okay.
thank you.
Thanks, Jess.
Okay, Lindsay, back to you. Discussion possible approval of ambulance abatements.
So the form I found It's 2023, so I hurried and did the 2025 modifications for these two. I'll make a new chart and bring it next time I have abatement, so it's all, it did make quite a bit of difference between 2023 and 2025. So back to Jace Penny, with their adjusted gross income of $69,400, they would not qualify under this chart. You're still open to give them an abatement if you feel like it was a hardship on them.
How are we supposed to know that?
Right? Well, and they, I mean, they did fill out, I mean, they've got all their paperwork in here,
All
but they
right,
didn't write a letter.
Hard question.
Right. The other thing that we do is, any amount left owing, we can have our billing agency collect from them, and they can pay up to, $50 a month or whatever until the bill is paid off.
So what
and
you
there's
do is
no
turn it over
finance
to
charges.
collection if we don't do something?
But if they don't make a payment in 6 months, then it would go, all of this would go back to collections.
To collections.
But our billing agency will just take payment from them for as long as it takes, and they write off any finance charges on that. With this
You said the
particular,
insurance paid some, correct?
yeah, the insurance paid the majority. They
But
paid
the
60,
The insurance didn't cover the full cost.
Right.
And that's what we got here.
right,
About
yep.
$4,700.
And so we hold it, and then if we haven't made a plan for them, can we make a plan for them, or do we just turn it over to?
Well, we can set a plan for
But
them.
then that creates more work for us.
Yeah, we can tell them, you were denied the abatement because of your income, but, we've set this payment plan up for you. And as long as they'll receive that payment, then it just
Okay.
stays status quo and there's no finance charges or anything.
So we got 2 or
accrued.
3 options.
I mean, in this one, we did receive a good portion of the bill through the insurance.
Yeah, it was what, 6,000 you said?
Yeah, almost $6,400, just shy of $6,400 is what insurance paid.
They must have, great, they must have decent.
They must have good insurance,
Must
yeah.
have pretty good insurance. That's a pretty good chunk.
Yeah, so this, almost $1,600 is what's left owing after insurance paid.
I wish there were a letter or something accompanying it saying, other hardships that they may have.
Right, and they didn't, she's been in contact with me. I don't feel like they're rolling in the dough to say, but they were just requesting a little bit of help with this.
So let me ask, I know we're on this one, but the next one, what was the total on the Harris Bevan? Did they have insurance?
They did not have insurance.
It looks like to me, they probably don't have insurance.
Right, so their
Probably
total was the.
self-contractor, yeah.
Yeah. So that was his total. It was an ATV crash down by the Kanosh Cemetery.
Where'd the ambulance take him?
Just to Fillmore, and I don't know after that if he was life-flighted or not. I know he was really injured, and he was off work for 2 months after that accident, so there's a good chance he was probably life-flighted. We did not ground transport him.
So where's Bonnie at? Would we take this out of an enterprise fund, or would this come out of our general fund?
This is our enterprise fund.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, whatever we
Well,
write off
that's
on.
where it should come from.
Right, anything we write off, we just don't collect
Take
and
off your
add to,
enterprise fund, okay.
so.
It's hard to know what to do when there's not a letter accompanying it.
Right. Well, and I know it was their little girl had seizures or something, and that's why she had to be taken up. So they did spend a little bit of time up at Primary Children's as well, but they didn't, I don't know the extent of it. I mean, they're just shy, a little bit over the 25% mark. Or just over that mark, I should say, not shy of that mark.
What is that mark?
It's 60, well, I guess they're 3,000 over it, 60, just about 66,000. for a family of 5.
So if they was there, what would your chart recommend? If there's at 65,
The chart would be 25%.
25%?
I'm pretty comfortable with that because we did receive a big bulk of that through insurance.
Well, I'll give us something to start on. I would move that we pay the $598.83 and put the rest to collections for payment. That would be a third of it.
So right off the
Yeah,
598.83.
they're close enough to that. Yeah. If that's a recommendation.
I'll second that.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
And then the second one, we talked a minute, is Harrison Bevan. His total bill was just over $2,600. His 2024 adjusted gross income was $47,477. They have a total monthly expense of $2,555. Total debts owed was $10,500, and that was, appears a loan from a family member and then a credit union loan. They have the 2017 Ford Explorer. They're a family of 2. He was involved in a ATV accident by Kanosh, no insurance, and was out of work for 2 months after the crash. And there also wasn't,
Is this their total ambulance bill, that 26?
that's their total ambulance
So where
bill.
was that transfer from? From Kanosh?
From Kanosh to Fillmore,
From Kanosh to Fillmore?
yep.
No insurance?
And, yeah, and like I said, I know he was injured quite badly, so I would guess that he might have been life flighted after that.
And that life flight isn't included in here? or is it?
No, that's, would be billed through
So
life
that's
flight.
our county fee from Kanosh to
Yep.
Fillmore?
Yep, that's just the county ambulance fee.
Okay.
According to your chart. And the income, how much?
According to the chart, the 25% guideline is at 37,000 for the 25% write-off.
So tell me the difference between this, the last one was 25% at 65,000, and this one's 25%.
It's the family size.
Okay,
Five
the size of the
compared to two.
family, and, oh, okay, so there's other adjustments in there. I'm just.
Yeah, so it goes by their
I'm trying to-
income and family
I'm trying to
size.
follow what we're, the number of dependents make a difference.
Right, right,
Okay. That's
Yeah.
probably the biggest difference, correct?
yeah. So it said, they did send in a letter that just said, here's our documents. Harrison was out of work for 2 months due to his accident, so he used to work for Mint Window Cleaning, but could not after he was injured. So it sounds like his injuries have caused him a life change.
Why would, if there's nothing else, I would move we do the 25%.
The 25% starts at 37,000, all right?
Yeah.
Since he's been out of work for a few months, I can go along with that, so I'll second that.
All in favor?
I,
No.
And I just, the shirt house, and if I have you sign, there's.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, public input. How are you, Mrs. Thompson?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Doing good, thank you.
So, I'm
Just state your full name for the record, please. Teresa Thompson, and I'm here regarding pickleball courts. But first, let me thank you for allowing us to put lines on the pickleball courts in the Fair Building. We've had over 70 people show up and play pickleball. On average, we have 15 to 25 to 30 people show up on Wednesday nights. And it's been really nice not to have to tape those pickleball courts every week. So we appreciate that, and I certainly hope you haven't received any complaints about lines on the court. So that's been very nice. Brooks was unable to be.
Nothing happened what they thought would happen.
No, yeah. Well, I've had a couple of people say to me, I thought you were going to paint lines on the courts, and I says, we didn't. They said, we didn't even notice it when they went there for different things, so that was
We
nice.
was told that no one would rent the facility again if we had lines on it. But
We
anyway,
both know that
that didn't
wasn't true.
happen. I don't know.
That's right.
They're still renting it, I guess.
Yes.
I
I
appreciate
believe
the
so.
volunteer work there.
Well,
Yeah, you guys did it. We didn't,
Well-
I don't think it
we did.
didn't cost nothing. I think even probably Steve and Charlie paid for the paint.
They did.
Charlie says he paid for the paint.
They did. They did.
I told him we said we'd pay for the paint as a county, and actually Charlie Edwards bought the paint, and he didn't even charge the county.
He wanted to volunteer, and
Yeah.
Steve Pratt did a great job of leveling.
Steve helped him.
Getting it all done, so we appreciated that. Brooks was unable to be here with me today, but he is in full support of this proposal. He called me in March and said, Teresa, there's a Parks and Rec grant that we want you to look at and see if we can apply to it, for it. And the grant was due March 17th, and I didn't have enough time to find out all the information. So after the grant was finished, I called the grant person who's in charge of it. His name was Patrick, and he said, Juab and Millard County are the only two counties in the state of Utah that have not received any information or any money from this grant. He said, if you will write something up, I will probably approve it because you need the money. I said, yeah, we do need the money and we want the money. So I'm working with him to get some funding for this proposal, for this project. There was 13 million in requests this year, and there was 6 million available. We in Millard County have a really good chance of getting that funding for next year. So we're looking at pickleball courts. We want pickleball courts. The city has $242,000 that they have received a grant for pickleball courts. Brooks and I met with the mayor. We sat down with him. This grant was approved in 2024, 10/1 of 2024. And when we went to the mayor and asked him what had been done, he said, well, basically nothing, because they didn't have anyone in the office to take care of it because the person who had written the grant had left. And the city was very busy with their other projects. And so I asked them if I could help them with the project, if I could get kind of going with the project. So we went to the city council and basically, and I'm telling the county commissioners this, I don't want to ask anybody for any money, the county or the city. We have $242,000 to work with. We need matching grants for that. I think we can find the funding. I think we can make this happen if Delta City and Millard County work together and make this happen. So we have some funding that is available there. And what we met with Evan, who's the Division of Outdoor Rec. That's the grant. So the grant is Land and Water Conservation. That is who the grant is written for or from. Their biggest thing is they want land that Delta City owns. That's why they approved the project next to the fire station, because Delta City owned that land. Their biggest concern is they don't want us to put it on somebody's land and then have somebody tear them up in 5 years from now and put something else there. If the federal government is going to pay for a project, they want to know that it's going to be long-lasting. So we visited, there was the city attorney, engineering, Sunrise Engineering, Brooks and I, that all met with Evan. And what we're looking at is, this is a the grant is based on location. We want to put the pickleball courts where the old tennis courts are out at the parks out there. It makes the most sense. It didn't make sense to me to put it at the fire station and then have a playground over here for kids to play with. If you're gonna go play pickleball and say, okay, kids, go play on the playground, cross that busy street, oh, you gotta go to the potty? Go cross that busy street. We took our grandkids out and we played pickleball on, we painted, Michelle Steele and I painted courts on the cement, and we played pickleball and our grandkids were right there. If they could come over, it's a perfect location. It has all the resources in place, the parking lot, everything that
And
we
lighting.
need. Yes, yes. So, what needs to happen now, what I need to do is I don't want to reapply to the grant. And Evan said that if we come up with a plan to work that land into, where either the city owns it or the city and county come together, I just need to figure that part out, and then I'll figure the funding out. So what I'm asking Delta City and Millard County to do is figure out the land. Here's the grant, and I apologize for this not getting sent to you. I'll get copies of it.
Do you think, I talked to Adam Richens yesterday, do you think there's a possibility they would go for a long-term lease instead of a conveyance of property if it was a 50-year, 100-year lease?
Let me
So you want approval to put them on county property is what you want?
yes.
Okay, that's,
I like that location, and also I like the idea of leaving that area next to the fire building available for when the county grows and needs a new ambulance barn shed where full-time people can be, that it could be built right next to the fire station. It'd be a great location.
so what you're asking is approval to put them on county property. Is the city reluctant to spend their grant and put them on county property?
No, they're
Okay,
not,
so
they're not reluctant.
I'm
The
wondering what is-
grant,
I think
What
the
is the
grant though
problem?
has to be, does it have to be under Delta City's?
well, no, it doesn't have to. I'm just trying to come up with different avenues, different things. So I can call Evan and say, what about a 50-year lease? I can ask him about that.
We're,
At least-
we're willing to do what, at least I'm willing to do whatever.
Me too. I just want to make it
So
happen.
if you talk to Evan and he says, well, this is what you're gonna have to do to make it work, whether we have to convey that little piece of property or we can do a lease, I think would be the cleanest if that's what he requires, or if he just says it's fine if it goes on county property.
They weren't fine with it going on the county property because the grant was under Delta City.
But is Delta City okay, but they aren't, so,
Delta City is great with it being put on that property. It is the grant,
so we could lease it to Delta City? Is that what we have to do?
that
Or
would-
give it to Delta City?
That would probably be my recommendation
So what are we
first if
talking
they
about,
go for
a
it,
tennis
because-
court size? So we just have to either give it or lease it to Delta City to complete your
You
thing?
know where that little square is, right when you pull into the ball fields?
Yeah,
It'd be that whole, almost that whole.
I mean, I can't, but I don't think we have no problem letting you put your pickleball courts on our
And the tennis
property.
courts
But if
aren't
that don't
functional.
qualify for the grant, then we need to look at the possibility of a sale of that piece or a lease of that piece to Delta City so we can comply with the grant.
right?
And that don't seem like a real big problem. I don't know unless,
Yeah, regardless, it's gonna have to go back on a future agenda for action, whether you're executing a lease or you do, if that's not sufficient, then you'll have to discuss and decide if you're gonna subdivide and convey that property.
yeah, lease is probably best because then we got to subdivide and do title and all this other stuff. so.
It is certainly more work to subdivide and
So
convey.
what you need to ask is the grant person, will a lease of 50 or 100 years satisfy that grant? That's what you need to ask them. That's what we need to know.
Here's another suggestion is, would the county be willing to be co-sponsors of the grant? So basically, the co-sponsor means that the county is willing to help us with in-kind match. So we need help digging up the facility because that we have, it is asphalt underneath, it's not cement underneath those tennis courts, which is why the tennis courts are in the shape they're in. And so we would need help digging that up. And so as co-sponsors of the project, would that work?
Will the grantees be willing to change it and put the county in at this time?
That's what
We're way after the fact, so.
Well-
And could we satisfy our portion with in-kind?
That's what I'm
Is
hoping.
this a matching grant?
It's a matching grant, so,
Yeah, we can have that tennis court tore up in about like 3 hours. All we gotta get is a loader and a dump truck and it'll be gone. If we can do that, that's something, we actually can do that. We do have equipment.
Yeah, we can tear
If
that
you do us in kind, I don't know, I mean,
No, if we could do it in kind,
that's what I'm looking at, is I want Delta City to put in-kind and Millard County to put in-kind, and that will help our grant. Basically, right now, where I'm at is I have to figure out the land, and then I've got to figure out the finances, and then I have to take the whole proposal back to them and make sure they're going to approve it.
let me ask you this, if we do that, it's gonna land in our lap. And so, can we count in-kind as scheduling and fees and maintenance and all that stuff is not that, can we count all that as in-kind? We'll have plenty of in-kind. You know, and
Kind will have to come out when you're building it, it won't be.
we can't schedule all the time our recreation department is gonna have to do.
When you close out the grant, you have to show all the proof of what we did, and like that has to go into the spreadsheet.
Well, after it gets torn out, it's also going to need like road base, gravel and stuff in there and get it compacted
Yeah.
before concrete can be poured.
But this is what we need to think about, is if Delta City's are they willing to participate with us managing it, or are they gonna manage it?
Well,
Because that's the big job. We can do all this stuff, but then you got,
right.
well, we gotta have fees, we gotta make schedules, somebody's gotta call somebody, and it ends up being all in our lap.
Right.
I mean, are they willing to do that, or?
That hasn't been discussed.
Yeah, okay,
That
that's what
part
I'm
hasn't been
wondering.
discussed. But I think basically, they were going to build the pickleball courts and say, here you go. Now you figure it out.
Why, I agree
Yeah, it's
with,
just, and I don't think that,
Vicky.
maybe Wednesday nights we put a league together, I don't know, I don't think it's gonna be that big of a
I don't either.
deal. Other than that, every other day of the week is just when people show up and play.
Yeah.
racquetball. It's like the tennis courts at the high school, nobody manages those,
Yeah.
and everybody just goes
Yep.
and plays at will.
It's kind of like down in Mesquite, people show up, they play pickleball, they organize it, they take care of it, they do ladders, they do rec programs, they do it all. The pickleball people are the ones who do it because the pickleball people are the ones who want to see it happen.
well, I do agree with Commissioner Lyman, next to the fire station is not a good place. If you're gonna put it someplace, put it someplace that's useful.
But let's, I think you have the support of in-kind.
Perfect.
And figuring out whatever we need to with the property.
So Elise, I'm going to contact Evan, I'm going to find out. Would it be possible for you and Todd and I to get together and Brooks and see if we can work it out that way and then bring it to the commissioners and the city council?
You mean work it out, like draft a lease agreement?
Yes, or something, if
Yeah,
we're
and
going
I
to
can
do
draft
that.
one and just circulate it if they say that's okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So my next step is going to be find out if we can do that, and then when we get to the point of where we need to do in-kind match in that, do I need to come back here and get approval?
Yeah, we need to know what we're
Okay.
doing.
Okay.
We absolutely need to know our obligation.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much. I
Yeah, we want
appreciate
it
it.
to happen, though.
Yeah, don't we all?
Okay, any other business? Yeah.
I just wanted to let you guys all know, Commissioner Wright and I have been in contact with the state on America 250. This is the semi-centennial celebration of the Declaration of Independence being signed 250 years ago. And so I had a presentation with them today where they want to do like a America's potluck type thing on July 5th, 2026, and they have a bunch of different other like events that they want to participate in, and we become like a partnership with this. So I kind of had a presentation today. I will reach out to Delta City and Fillmore City to see if this is something they want to participate in. If not, then we'll do it as a county. But they want to enhance events that we already have, celebrating Independence Day, America, things like that. So we could even tie it to our rodeo, we could tie it to the fair. We could do our own event, but I felt like it was important to enhance Delta City and Fillmore City's celebrations. And there's a lot that we could do on that. They said if we participate as a county, there's a $3,000 stipend. And then if the city wants to apply, there's an additional $1,500 that each city could apply for. So I will reach out to the cities today and tomorrow and kind of see if that's something they want to do. If not, we'll probably do it on our own.
Rachel's been good to work. I think you received on your email that the state has felt like it's important, as 250-year signing of the Constitution. And we already have a lot of celebrations. I don't think we're to the point we want to do something totally separate. So Rachel's reaching out and seeing if we can help or accommodate. They have a logo, they have some stuff like this, just to bring, which is needed, bring to the attention of the public that, you know, we know is the decoration that has been 250 years and recognize the value of it and what it's did for us. And so if we could do something that might be able to bring it forth in, our hope is we could help accommodate some of the, not develop anything particularly brand new. We would help accommodate some of the celebrations that we have already in our community. So she's exploring that. So thank you, Rachel.
And they gave us some really good ideas
Like
today.
Rachel needs another job.
It's okay. They did give me a year, though. So we have from July 1st, 2025 to July 31st, 2026 to do something in it. So I was like, oh, okay, I have some time to plan it. We can shoot for 2026. They said this next steps are we go and we fill out an application, and then we have to create a resolution. They have the resolution written for us. We just have to adjust it to our wording, what fits. And then we submit the event or a plan.
So we have some good events already, and we don't want to take away from them, or we don't want to compete with them.
Nope, I want
Here
to
again,
add
if
to
we
them.
can- If we can add to them, if we can help them just recognize that, then with some of the events they have, then that's what we're trying to do.
And if the cities don't want to participate, then we can maybe add it to like our rodeo and our fair, which would be a good one as well. But I don't see a problem with the cities participating. So, but like I said, I have to call them first and
Yeah,
talk to them and see how they feel about it and if they want to participate. If not, then we'll do it on our own.
Okay,
okay, thank you, Rachel.
But yeah.
thanks, Rachel. Hey, Bonnie, how are you?
Good. So I had a request for indigent burial. This is for Mario Valenzuela. I made a couple copies.
Have we got enough left in the appropriation to do this, or? Okay.
Yeah, we haven't paid for any burials this year. So this was submitted by Ryan Stevens at the mortuary in town, in Fillmore.
What's the total?
Well, and that's another thing I wanted to talk to you about. So last year, the going rate, he's invoiced us for $1,700. But last year, the going rate was $1,728, and we started applying a percentage increase each year. If we did that and we based it on the 2.5%, then it would be $1,771.20. It doesn't have to be, that's not in code or anything, but just keeping up. We weren't keeping up, and it was $1,600 for a long time. And so then we were, I think this application was actually less than $1,600. It was $1,560. And it didn't cover the cost of cremation. As you can see, the cremation is $1,870. So the funeral home is taking, they assumed that we would at least pay $17. So.
So we have a fund, so if the county didn't do it, the mortician would have to eat it?
Yeah, I mean, it would
There's
have to
probably
be.
no other way, or?
I don't think we want to make them eat it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just, asking a question, so we've generally, well, we've always done them probably, I think.
Yeah, this person lived in the low-income housing on Main Street.
Okay.
So are you suggesting we actually give them the original amount without them deducting? Well, we can't. What
No,
was
she's
it?
she's doing the 1,700 plus the 2.5% inflation.
Yeah,
So it wouldn't be the
1728.
full cost of the,
So if we keep the same pattern, we would give them 1,771.20.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we give Stevenson Funeral Home $1,771.20 to cover the indigent burial.
I second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Bonnie, how much do we have in that fund total? How much did we appropriate? I mean, if you got about, I mean, we don't spend a lot doing this, but,
No, in this line item, I think it's about $7,000.
okay.
And we haven't spent any this year.
We only do 2 or 3 a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any surplus property, Jacob?
Yes.
Okay. Discussion and possible approval for the sale or transfer of surplus property.
Actually, this is a fleet management request. So we had moved the Equinox over to Delta just temporarily until we could get another vehicle looked at. We want to move that Equinox back over here now and take the Ford Focus over to Delta, so I just need approval from you to go ahead and do that so that it can be on record that that's what the fleet management transfer was. So it's just we need a bigger vehicle over here because when they travel, they usually travel together, the office does, and they don't have enough room for their luggage and stuff, and so we're just gonna make that swap. We surplus Delta's SUV earlier and took the Equinox over there for a temporary fix until we could get the vehicles looked at that we were moving over there, so
Okay.
that's all.
I'd move that we approve the transfer.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Discussion of possible appointments to various county boards.
The only one, so I sent, extraction to all three of you commissioners, spoke with Commissioner Lyman, she's working on a few, and then James, she's the same one that's, so
Okay.
either of you two.
I don't have any.
So, they're supposed to be getting me a list for the rodeo,
Okay, what I'll
And
do is I'll send you, I think.
the fair.
I'll send you each a list of, the boards with the members that we have on file, and then you'll just visit them, update them, so we can bring them.
Okay. So, the one question I have, so talking to the people over 2 of my boards, not all boards are gonna have time, or term limits? Is that a possibility? So like the rodeo, for example, said, we just volunteer, we're on it till we decide to get off.
They should all have bylaws, so as long as you're following the bylaws,
Okay.
and bylaws, follow state code, county code, whichever.
And do you know where any of those bylaws are? 'Cause I don't
Some
think,
of them are on our website.
because I'm like, I've talked to the rodeo committee and they're like,
I think I do not.
Don't have no
like, you
clue.
look.
They're cowboys, they do what they
rodeo,
want.
So I can make sure we're following every week.
Yeah, the fair is one that will be updated as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll give
Okay.
you each a list of the information that we currently have, and then if there's no term limits, it's still nice to know, when they make changes.
Okay.
And we do put this on January 1st agenda, so in that case, they, these are still the same, and we'll just update it, so we have current lists all.
Okay.
And they have the ability to change their bylaws as long as they're not a state court. So if what we're doing is not working, and the bylaws don't fit, you can change the bylaws, just change the bylaws.
Well, so the wellness committee as well, we have 6 or 7 people that show up. That's all, but there's like, okay,
You can make that change.
Okay.
When it was first created, the commission, well, not when it was first created, but it was amended, when I joined the board in 2011. One of the commissioners said we need representation from each office and department on that. You can do that.
okay. Is that board also required for insurance purposes? Bonnie, do you know if that's, so if, I'm not saying we are, if we were to disband it, it doesn't, because that was one of the questions or comments that was brought up, that maybe it's tied to insurance or USIP or something.
No, it could have been in the past, but it's no longer required.
Okay. All right.
So if they resolve the wellness, maybe not saying we are, but
Yeah.
that's an option, is that new way of doing things? No, not necessarily. The board can still keep the incentive in place.
Okay.
I think that's kind of why it was created, help determine how much. Yeah, and they were getting grant money and deciding how to disseminate that money and how to spend it.
And I don't, at least since I've been on, we haven't done any grant funding or,
I emailed them actually because Kayla asked me this question. So I asked what, if any, benefit besides healthier employees the county receives from having a wellness council. And it sounds like it's just healthier employees. I can forward you this email. She talks about a wellness conference that 2 people from each county can go to, but I did not see that she discussed any incentives that the county receives from having one.
okay. Well, we only got about 10 healthy employees. So the rest of us are gonna croak anytime.
Well,
And that honestly, that's why it kind of got brought up, like, are we getting the participation we need? So,
I mean, there's a lot
that's
that
what
participate that aren't showing up to the committee meeting, right? I mean,
no,
because
no, that's what I'm saying. There's
Yeah.
not a lot that participate.
I mean, I don't show up to the meetings, but I participate in wellness, so,
No, I know, but I
Yeah.
would say the majority of people that are employed by Millard County do not participate.
yeah. I mean, there's not been new growth in participants. It's typically the
Yeah.
same group of people.
Yeah, and I do feel like, and to the committee's credit, they do try awfully hard to get people involved. It's nothing
Yeah.
against the committee, but
Sure,
when we've got larger departments full of men don't tend to participate in stuff like that. Most of the participants, I would say, are the women, which is great. And that's why it got brought up, is because it is very, very small amount of people that are actually participating in it. And it's not to the lack of effort put in by the committee, because the committee does
Sure.
an excellent job of trying to find new things, find things that are exciting,
And-
find things that people.
and get interest new people, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I felt like we started giving out some awards, prizes, I don't know what you call it, the giveaways, that might entice more people, and that didn't seem to bring more people either, that I noticed. Maybe Kayla, maybe you noticed a pickup. Okay.
I forwarded the email she sent me to some
Okay.
of you.
Thanks.
Sorry, I did not mean to go that far into that one. Delinquent property tax.
Wait, do we need to approve Charlie Edwards?
Oh, sorry.
Do I need to restate my name? Okay, Rachel West, Tourism. Okay, so Charlie Edwards got nominated on our board at our last meeting. Our last board chair, Woody Johnson, left. He moved to Nauvoo. So, yeah, he got a really cool job opportunity. So super excited for him. But sad that we lost him as our board member. So we have a full board. All this is doing is taking Charlie, who is on the board, and naming him chair. So our co-chair will stay the same, everything will stay the same, secretary, all of that, but we're just naming Charlie as the board chair.
Okay.
You just have to approve him.
I make a motion to approve Charlie Edwards as chair for the tourism board.
I second it, and he is a relative.
All in favor?
I
Aye.
Thanks,
can't
guys.
hold that against him.
Actually, he does a good job.
Oh, he does. He does a
Gets
great
stuff
job.
done.
We
He
shook our
wants to
heads
go
no on
faster
delinquent
than
property,
anybody
right?
else.
He's a go-getter.
Bonnie, delinquent property?
Not aware of any.
Okay. Any other discussion by any of the other elected officials? BOE? Okay. Oh. I'm gonna be gone June 3rd. We have commission meeting that day. I'll be gone that week. So I don't know. And we can think about what you wanna do for, till the next commission meeting and decide what you wanna do.
Previously, since I've been here, if there's some item that needs three, you can just put it on another schedule. Just,
To maybe cancel it all together is what you're
no,
saying?
just go ahead, just move the item, go ahead and have the meeting.
Oh.
As long as he and I agree, we're
99% of what we do. really
Okay, I see, yeah.
Whatever you're the chairman, you do what you want to do.
Okay, so we'll just hold it for now?
If there's some items you have some particular interest in, just
Okay.
put them on the next week or the week before.
Okay,
Because we can change that as easy as we can change a meeting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can change the items, just take it off.
I thought that
put it
wasn't
back.
there.
We do that all the time.
okay.
There is a closed meeting.
Possible review of county policies and contracts. Okay. Possible closed meeting pursuant to Utah Code annotated section 52-4, 204, and 205.
Yes, to discuss pending or reasonably imminent litigation.
Okay. Will we be coming back afterwards? Will we be making motions?
No
on-
actions,
No actions?
yeah.
Okay, so,
So it can just close
I would move that we,
after the closed meeting.
yeah, and then you have to come back to adjourn.
We have to come back and
You have
close
to
this
come back
meeting.
to
but we won't be
adjourn.
taking any action.
Correct. I'm sorry?
The online training,
The video?
yeah, the video would say after. So you'll end the online.
Yes.
Okay, so we're ending the online video because there will not be an action taken after when we come back.
I would move we enter a closed meeting.